Hi, welcome back to Vola TV. I'm joined today by Laura O'Donnell from our English department. Welcome, Laura, how are you doing?
I'm not bad, Barry, thank you for having me.
Delighted that you're here. So we're going to talk a wee bit more on the back of the episode we did a couple of weeks ago looking at science. We're going to have a wee look at English today and how kids can go about studying and students can prepare themselves for the upcoming exams. So how would a student at Vale of Leaving Academy know what they have to do or what they have to improve on in their English so that they're as well prepared as they can possibly be?
Feedback's probably the main thing. A lot of the time we do verbal feedback, so it's one thing having discussion with students, letting them know verbally, written feedback as well, knowing what they have to study, whether it's a particular topic within the course. So for instance, RUE can be a particular one that some students can kind of struggle with. There's a lot of things to revise, a lot of formulas to remember, not quite science formulas, but a structured way to answer a question. So feedback from teachers to allow them to understand specifically on the back of our interim assessments what is the focus for them to study and what they really should be focusing on.
And that's really important. I love that. But I've got a wee interest in English myself, but I love that about English, that you can, you're not just being given a number like maybe happened when I was at school. You're being given that kind of broken down information, so you know what part of it you've got to work on. You mentioned RUAE, which in the old days we called close reading, but that RUAE is analysis, evaluation, understanding questions. So it's important that you know which part of it that you're doing well with and which part of it you've got to do a wee bit of work on. So that's all broken down for young people so that they know exactly what they've got to focus on. Brilliant. Okay. And once you know what you've got to focus on, once you know where the kind of gaps are, if you like, what should young people do to improve their grades and to make sure they're as well prepared as possible?
Obviously, they've probably heard it tons of times before from multiple different teachers, multiple different departments, but just constant studying, constant revising, making sure that, for instance, I'm teaching Carolyn Duffy poetry with my National Fives, so I am telling them to learn that like the back of their hands so that they can easily rely on quotations, just easily, if they're stuck with an answer, they can pick something at the back of their minds and feel confident going into the exam.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? When you go into an exam, the more work that you've done, the better prepared you'll be. The better prepared you are, the better you feel. So actually, if you work hard in advance of an exam, it takes away some of the nerves. Which is really, really important. And what are the department doing, the English department, to support young people in terms of their study?
So English department, I think as a school, we all endlessly use Google Classroom in order to provide students with valuable resources. Quite often, if we've used a PowerPoint, that'll very quickly go up onto the Google Classroom for students to revise, to see all of the content that we've done in class at their own leisure, just to take their own pace in studying, be independent for their own learning on top of that. Additionally, we'll provide additional resources. BBC Bite Size is always an invaluable resource, really step-by-step broken down. And as well, I always quite like to bring in the kind of YouTube side of things. There's a lot of teachers on the internet that spend additional time outside of the school providing resources, providing extra explanations for students just to try and get a better understanding of different areas. So,
and I saw a couple of things for English on the internet, on YouTube in particular, and it's fantastic. Cause it's just that kind of broken down. Sometimes in a lesson, you can miss a bit, just the way it goes sometimes. So lots of really great resources. The BBC are brilliant. BBC Bite Size is absolutely fantastic. And you'd mentioned Caroline Duffy there for the Scottish text, but they've got different bits for all of the different Scottish texts on there, and that's dead helpful. And of course you can Google SQA past paper, and there's like back number of years for that. So lots of useful things that kids can get stuck into. And the key to it, I think you touched on there, Laura, it's all about working as hard as you possibly can between now and the end of March, and over the Easter holidays as well, of course. All right, great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on Vola TV, and make sure you're working hard.